Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast, and today we have a guest, Ayun. It's a brother and it's a friend. And a normal co-host is Cole on my right side, I guess. Left, right. How you doing today, Cole?
Doing all right.
Julian.
It's fun. It's a fun little format change. We're moving the studio around, doing some crazy stuff. It's a sea of cables under this table right now. I'm sure that each of our legs are completely being consumed by serpent wires. But it's fun. Good show. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Great matches over the weekend.
Yeah, how you doing, Ayun?
Man, I cannot complain. Well, I could complain a lot. It's just nobody will listen.
Yep.
I'm glad I'm here. Been wanting to do this for a minute now.
Yeah.
And I've been watching you guys do your thing. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting.
We'll be following you.
No problem,
too.
man.
Well, at least me. He's been all over the place. He's the ultimate soccer fan. We actually say football, but
we do. We've actually had the conversation over the last couple of weeks of like, if we're talking to someone outside of the podcast around here, I'll usually just say soccer just because you don't really know what you're talking. Like you don't know who's talking about what. Yeah. But if we're on this podcast, I assume that everyone listening understands. So it's like I try my best to only use football. And then people that I'm friends with and that know me personally, like they know that I wouldn't be talking about the NFL with all due respect to the NFL.
Yeah. Big Nashville soccer FC fan too. He's always all over. I always say wherever they go, he goes. I've been seeing he's all over there. But when we had great matches during the weekend and absolutely crazy in the Premier League right now. But let's get to the news and rumors. Thiago Motta to Manchester United. What do you guys think about that? And he's a big Manchester United fan too. And looking at how Manchester United is playing right now, man, they are in crisis. I can't tell you much about them, but one thing I can tell you, I don't know if it's the coach, the manager is the problem, or the team is the problem. Like there's just a lot of things that goes into this equation, man. What do you think about it?
So because I really want your full opinion on this as well, because we kind of break down each club's issues and strengths. And one of the things that we've been talking about with United for the entire season, there's no single identifiable issue. Like it seems like there's so many small things that are then compounding into bigger things that it feels like Chelsea, where we're not entirely sure what we believe the immediate quick fixes are. Like how do you feel like the season's been so far? It can't have been great, but maybe you see some upsides because you watch them every single week and we don't. Where are the easy fixes, or at least the most immediately required fixes? And then what are the long time schemes and builds overall?
So when I talk about Manchester United, and I'm tend to be the delusional fan.
Sure.
Manchester United fan.
You always gotta have those moments,
and there's no shame in that too, as long as you admit it.
I'm the one who think that like this, there's a chance that this coach can turn it around and actually make what his vision in his head would be for the team. But the reality on the field right now is it's a total mess. Like there's like you said, there's not a single issue. It's just multiple problem compounding to create one big giant problem that Herrick and I are dealing with.
Well, it seems like a lot of like plays, like ways people want to fix in the transfer. They're like, oh, we just need a blank, and I'm looking, I'm like, you guys don't need one thing. You guys kind of need like five different things.
We are beyond just one player fixing the problem right now, because if you look at it like the game against Liverpool, the biggest issue we are seeing is like our midfield look open. It looked like somebody can drive a Mourinho-sized bus in that midfield, and there'll be no single Manchester United player near it. But the issue go beyond that. Like Manchester United, from the ownership all the way to maybe the club doctors, they need a new renovation. God.
Hey, when Cristiano talked about it, everyone came after him.
Oh, yeah. Ronaldo was just talking about the cosmetic issues of like
cosmetic issues.
He was talking about like well, the pools are not updated, the training facility is old. We all know that those are cosmetic issues. The fact that Old Trafford roof is leaking all the time. But the deep-rooted issues of Manchester United is recruitment. We've been in the bad of recruiting players for a minute now. The fact that we got Casemiro, who ultimately only last one season, which was last season. Last season, Casemiro was amazing.
He was very good.
We had that Casemiro of last season, this season, most of our issues in the midfield would have been stopped. You could see that how much grass he covered. But now he's no longer the same guy anymore, and you can see because the ultimate goal is to play with two advanced, like attacking 8.
Yeah.
But Casemiro cannot do the defensive job like he used to anymore.
And one issue about Manchester, it's interesting because when they are in attacking or transition, it's so easy for them to get caught behind. The opposition team always get them because all of them they don't know how to cope when it's time to defend.
I think because the problem is we had multiple different partnership in the center back position all season. Like we had like ridiculous number, like about 19 different partnership as the pair for center back. Yeah. And most of the time I was starting like left back. Luke Shaw have been out for half the season. So we've been playing without a left back, and our center backs keep coming in and out. It's almost like a rotating.
And Kabwala and Maguire, that was a new partnership too. But I think they did great, especially the kid. I mean, he did some error, but I think Kabwala did.
The reason why I think like it looked so open like that is that our center back are too terrified to push forward, but they don't have pace, and our midfield is pushing so far forward to compensate for the fact that we're not feeding our attack, and all of a sudden you lose the ball, you have your midfielders are up already, and you just have Casemiro on the island of midfield by himself, and then the back line drop because they terrify our pace, and you just look at an unorganized team, and that's what is the problem right now.
So you wouldn't think a new manager will be fixing the problem, in a sense, in terms of just managing, because a lot of United fans, what they see right now is probably if we get a new manager, we might not need to, it will kind of fix the issue of just managing the players.
No, it would not, because my thinking is that like we had like how many managers? 5 managers since Alex Ferguson retired.
Yeah.
And every single manager, we say, okay, we need one manager and it will fix all of this. We went from Louis van Gaal, who's boring. Yeah. We're like, okay, he won pretty much everything with Ajax and Barcelona. He's going to fix the problem that Moyes couldn't. Van Gaal failed. We went for, okay, Van Gaal failed. We need a new manager. What about Jose Mourinho, who have won every single major trophy in every club that he have gone to at that point? We're like, okay, Mourinho will fix the problem. Mourinho only lasted 2 seasons also.
But do you think Mourinho, they should have let Mourinho a lot more?
Yeah, Mourinho was I feel like the one coach that Man United did dirty, because the year he finished second, the following summer, he only got like Grant Lee as the backup goalkeeper and Fred. No disrespect to those guys, but that's not who you give a manager who finished second and is going up against Guardiola, has a transfer window. And no wonder after that transfer window, Mourinho was not the same anymore. He was complaining a lot more and falling out with players a lot more. And that's why I'm saying, like, a new manager he could fix the problem, but I don't think it would. The way people think it should.
I get that. It means the thing about that, I always say, I started saying, especially to, like, it's 50% manager at this point. Not because it's really the managing problem, it's also the players. Another thing is they are in a state of scapegoat right now because United is such a big club. There's always a blame. At the beginning, we said Onana is the blame, but Onana has been playing, and I always said it's not really Onana when you have crappy players on the field. You can't tell me someone that went really well last season in the Champions League just became suddenly bad. What about what you think, Cole?
Do you think that part of the issue that they've had since Alex Ferguson left is that they were used to being on top so much for 20 years that they're still in this mindset of, oh, we just need this one thing fixed. Like, I feel like Chelsea suffers from the same thing as well, where they're so used to being in the top 2 or top 3 that if they conceded too many goals the season before, the obvious answer is, oh, we just need a new world-class defender. But it's like, no, it's not just a single issue. Like, not everybody in your squad is world-class. Your manager's not world-class. They thought, I guess, that you could replace a manager as simply as you can replace a left back when they lose their pace. That's what it feels like. And when you're on top for that long, you think that those fixes are not that they're that much easier, but it's that simple. It's just an A to B thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. And that's the, like, the problem with Man United is that we still have to operate in the Sir Alex Ferguson era.
Yeah.
Because, like right now, a single manager does not control everything in football club like he used to.
Because they don't also have a sporting director.
Yeah, no, Manchester United never, like, we were behind the curve because
that's true.
It wasn't until a couple of years ago we actually appointed a sporting director. And not only did we not appointed a sporting director, we took one that was already working within the club. I'm like, why? We are so far behind. We need to bring people from the outside to fix this problem. But no, we went and get another manager who wanted control, like Sir Alex Ferguson, because the owners were used to a guy who ran both the football and the recruiting department.
Yeah, the team itself. Because I heard, not cutting you saw Piqué when he talked about when they asked him, do you think Mourinho, because he played under Mourinho, I don't know, he played under Pep and they asked him, what do you think is the best? His answer wasn't really to differentiate what was the best because it's difficult, and he said Sir Alex Ferguson was more of a manager than a coach, in a sense where he managed the whole team. He wouldn't even show up to training sometimes, you know, just because he had a lot to manage. But you're right on that.
So with that being the case, like, we never recruited properly. And every single player we have signed has not been up to the task. So the first thing we should have done was to say, okay, we're gonna like recruit better, and to do that we need a different recruiting department. And that's what like the new minority ownership in like Jim Ratcliffe and the NUS group are trying to do. Is
are you excited about that though?
When they first came in, I was very excited to say, okay, like, you guys are moving correctly. You went and got like a CEO from Manchester City Group, because see the successful team right now, and you were trying to get like Dan Ashworth from Newcastle. So you were moving correctly. The problem is, like, it's taking a while for that to come in.
It's a slow process, man.
But I'm hoping with that change of recruitment, it would change the how much we pay for players that are not worth that much, Anthony. But so
that was an absolutely bust.
Anthony is like probably the worst like spend of money like of like 100 million or something like that.
I kind of hate this era about it, but
this is how bad Manchester United recruitment department is. Like a couple of years ago when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the manager, you know what the value Anthony at?
3 million.
It was 20 million for Anthony when he was like first value by Manchester United. 2 years later, they paid 86 million for him. Which would add on.
That's inflation.
And like, there's big things like that. Then there's also
bad management, not inflation.
That's inflation, guy.
But then there's also
same
like
thing at Walmart. Everything costs expensive.
But then there's also like the small, simple mistakes, like. Has Martial been re-signed twice now when he probably shouldn't have been? Like, you keep kind of stringing people along as well. Like, we all know that he's not going to get the minutes that he was originally designed to get, but also he doesn't deserve them because he's not that quality of a player. But you also have a lot of people like on the upside here. Like, despite being a bit risky on the defense sometimes, I think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is actually a decent wing back there. I think that Alejandro Garnacho is fantastic. I think that he's a very, very good talent. Kobe Mainoo is obviously going to be an absolute star.
Talent.
And I think that part of the issue has been, you're right, like the midfield's having to compensate to distribute the ball out. And it's not a good thing when your star forward Marcus Rashford is not producing at the same level as well. It's like in every facet of the game, someone is holding back and making them overcompensate in the wrong ways.
So like that's why I was pointing out to people this. I said, listen, last year we relied so much on how good our defense was. And it was for majority of the season Varane and Martinez. Martinez has been injured for all the season. Came back from one game and then re-injured the same foot. Came back again and re-injured. And again, like his was it calf? So Martinez has been out for all the season, and like so those were the partnership in our back. And then in the midfield, Casemiro was playing the best football I've seen Casemiro play in a minute. Like you say, Marcus Rashford was scoring goals left and right, and this season all of those people are just like down.
Rashford
does not look like himself. instead of training harder, he's over there like partying.
Well, and when you have someone that's at that level of star power compared to the other guys, I mean, Rashford does outweigh Højlund and Garnacho and Antony. There's no way that you can tell me that your midfield isn't subconsciously wanting to still give him the ball, even though he's not performing that well, and that's probably squandering a lot of chances. Because I think Højlund's a good player as well. Yeah. He's just not getting the exact service that he needs.
Let's get back to this. Chelsea, Liverpool, PSG won Vinny Jr.
Moving on.
More than 100 million. What do you think?
Jesus.
I mean, Vinicius Jr. going to Paris Saint-Germain.
Let's just stop this. Vinicius Jr. is not leaving Real Madrid.
Period.
I don't know that if there's money on the planet Earth that you can give Real Madrid right now to get Vinny.
You know what? I kind of think about that sometimes too. I feel like we could, but there's a lot. Mbappe will be coming. I'm thinking that will be for sure.
Okay, Mbappe will come, but it's still Vinny Jr.
You
the
think
man
so?
Won them Champions League already.
But you know, Madrid doesn't have loyalty to anyone though. That's the problem.
But they do not let their superstar go easily.
Oh, I don't think so.
when the last great superstar that left Madrid that ended up being good?
Raúl,
yeah,
who was Madrid, who grew up in Madrid, was the captain for Madrid, won Champions League and leagues for Madrid.
Yeah,
they still let him go
at 34 years old. That's the difference.
But
at 34
I
years
get
old.
that, but I'm just thinking Madrid doesn't have that loyalty in a sense to anyone. It's different from like Premier League's club, but Madrid don't really care.
Madrid mistreat their superstar once they get over the hill. Bale, Casillas. Yeah, I give you that. But while they're in their prime,
you think
Madrid rarely let them go.
You think Madrid that's been poaching Mbappe for so long and get the chance to get Mbappe, who is gonna be the star of that team? I mean, all of them are stars, but the stars among stars.
Yeah,
I think that would be Mbappe because of what is going around him, and you guys looking at this guy for 2-3 years now, every single year. They will accommodate for him, not the other way around.
I think Mbappe has a problem in his hand because Vinicius Jr. is just coming into his own and is one of the most electrifying left-wingers in the world right now. That's number one. Number two is you have the greatest, like, potentially midfielder Madrid has ever had in Bellingham.
Yeah.
So you come into a team that have two absolute superstars already. As good as you are, you've been playing in the Farmers League.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, hey, I won the Champions League already playing here. And I was the main man.
But guess what?
You're not going to come here and just demand to be the guy.
He's not going to demand it. The contract is going to say.
Yeah. No.
That's just a fact. The fact is we all watch the news, right?
Yeah.
Who is the most marketable player at this moment?
Like what? This moment, actually, they're neck to neck in
and I think Mbappe has an edge over him.
No, Mbappe used to, not anymore.
I don't know, man. Every single day, every single week, this guy's on the news.
because the way he's been treated in Paris is different. Because in Paris, he's virtually the king, even though they don't have kings.
Yeah,
and the way the Qatari ownership of PSG has treated Mbappe.
Yeah.
They made him feel like he owned everything.
No, but that's one thing I never like. But just to brush off this, I'm just thinking, I'll get to you. It's gonna be really difficult because I feel like either Madrid has to let someone go, or either of those players just thinking about their own careers. Because there's one thing I never liked Madrid, although I support them from 2000 and from the Galacticos era or whatnot. Madrid is a talent killer if you are not the most talented and you really want to work. Because the one thing with them that other clubs don't have, they will kill your talent. It don't matter if you are great. It's sitting down because the whole rotation thing is good. But you have so many good players.
It's a sink or swim kind of a thing. But the thing is, they're not afraid to let a good player sink.
See, I do give Madrid the power. Like they're able to do stuff like this right now because of Carlo Ancelotti. I think without Carlo Ancelotti, you're not able to bring so many young superstars.
I think Madrid will have. It's Madrid.
Yeah. But Madrid always. But when the last time they started winning, when they had Zizou and then Ancelotti, that's when they won the Champions League, right? No player on the planet Earth is ever gonna walk into like a Zidane office and demand something out of Zidane. Zidane like said, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
So the same way that they will not talk bad because of Ancelotti.
No,
like,
yeah.
Hey, I'm Ancelotti. I decide who play. I decide what happens. So
yeah.
they won't have that much a problem because of that.
Yeah.
Him. But like you say, like
no, that is just true. Is my thing is just the talent for like I'm thinking the individual player should think about himself too, right?
Yeah.
Because you have Rodrigo, you have Vinicius Junior.
Rodrigo is gone.
That's the guy who we going there.
So hold on. Okay, so here's the thing.
Because you have to accommodate.
Yeah,
you have because you have too much good players at the four. You have Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior. You have Valverde. That's just crazy. And you know Valverde is good for rotation. He costs less. He's just there.
Well, and Valverde's in the news as well, and we'll get to him in a second.
So they're gonna lose either two of the midfielders too.
So this is one thing.
That's another thing.
This has been one of the longest storylines that he and I have been discussing on this podcast this entire season. When the season first started, to me at least, it was obvious that Vinicius Jr. was going, and I feel like we're still pretending like they run a 3-man front, Madrid, because they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that kind of proves the point even more that someone does have to go, because we were under the same impression too. Rodrigo has to go. He was in poor form. Vinicius was on fire. And you got Bellingham as an attacking midfielder, kind of almost rounding out a front three, but he's not really that. And because he showed that he can't play a number 9, he's always been very poor. Once he drops back about 15 yards or so, then he's one of the best players on the damn planet. Yeah. But what's happened recently is that Vinicius Jr. is so they're not running a 3-man front, so they're running like a left forward, right forward kind of a thing.
It's kind of like an old school kind of deal, but that could potentially be 3 or just 2.
It could be, but that takes away from.
Kind of,
it takes away from Bellingham if you run a 3-man front, and so it kind of magnifies even more that it's either Vinicius or it's Mbappe. For some reason, because Rodrigo has really come up in form, and he's even been doing well on that left side.
Rodrigo is going to go.
So now I'm more inclined to be on this side.
Yeah, because like Vinicius is probably like, if like say superstars in the world right now, it's probably him, like and Mbappe.
Yeah, in just terms of superstars.
Vinicius and Mbappe are the 2 world superstars right now, beside Haaland in City.
Yeah.
But in order to get the best out of like probably one of your best midfielders in Bellingham, you're gonna still need to play this type of formation. And the reason why I say some of the midfielders are gonna have to leave Madrid is because in order for you to play that, you have like Camavinga and Valverde. And most of the time, like Tchouaméni is a shoe-in. He's the best of that midfield. Without him,
that's what I've been.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Tchouaméni is.
Actually, I've been thinking Camavinga. He's been thinking Tchouaméni more.
Tchouaméni is the base. Tchouaméni is more.
Which is funny because he's had so many transfer rumors this entire season. Tchouaméni has.
But do you think if he had to let go, because Tchouaméni and Camavinga potentially, let's say 80% cannot do the same role, but the difference is that sometimes one drops to the defense, one goes to the left or a left back.
See, like the way I look at it is like if you put like Camavinga at the base, you take away from how good dynamically going forward he is. He's a true box-to-box midfielder, Camavinga.
Yeah.
So you need to push him a little bit forward. But he can play the same midfield. That's what I'm saying. Like Valverde might end up going, and the midfield will be Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga.
That's what I've been thinking too.
But Valverde have been very good.
He has.
I feel like they gotta let him go.
Well,
because guess what? There's so many. I mean, he's playing good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not like the other ones that were not playing good. The other one are just there's so much talent. I mean, when you see them play, you just know that these guys are doing it.
No, it does remind me. Remember when they signed Kaká?
Yeah.
When they signed Kaká, people say, Kaká is not going to play. When they signed Kaká, they pushed Ozil out.
Yeah, but
Ozil just won the World Cup with Germany. No,
that's different because when they signed Kaká, they came with Ronaldo too.
Ronaldo was already going to be playing, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of hate Madrid for that. You can't sign a lot of players good, 4 players good that's at one position.
Okay, it wasn't until like they actually changed and realized that you need to build a team, not like a group of superstars when they start winning again. And like the first time, actually, it was Carlo Ancelotti. The first time around with Khedira and and all of them as the base of midfield.
Higuain,
and Di Maria and all of them. And then there's the Saka, and then Toni Kroos was signed, and Modric was signed. And Modric was considered one of the worst transfer in Madrid history. Now all of those people who voted him that they're like, I need apologies later to be said to Modric.
No, Modric he has proven his worth. I don't know. This guy has been exceptional.
Speaking of Real Madrid, though, really fast, let's go ahead and pivot there. We were talking about Valverde. It looks like Liverpool's interested in him.
Liverpool wants Valverde. What?
That's one place I don't want him to go.
Why?
Because he's built for Liverpool.
Okay.
Valverde is built for Liverpool.
So it's a subjective fandom thing.
So
I got you.
You don't want them to start beating United, huh?
No. The way, you see, if you look at the midfield right now, you have Soberslide and McAllister.
Yeah.
And
I think that he can replace Harvey Elliott in a second.
Exactly. So, and you see Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones is there.
Yeah.
If you put Valverde over Curtis Jones, that midfield just goes levels.
I see.
Yeah. So I don't want Valverde. Plus the engine on that man is incredible. He can run for days.
He moves two of their midfielders immediately to the bench as soon as he walks in.
So I don't want Valverde to go there.
Yeah.
I actually want him at Man United. If you were to get a midfielder to come to United. Actually, we do need a more defensive.
You guys probably need everyone.
But I think that Valverde is very underrated in his defensive quality too. Yes. Everybody talks about his pace and his ability to weave passes through lanes, but I've seen him make some very good defensive challenges, and I do think that he would help Manchester United a lot. And because, Eriksen has to go. Mm-hmm. Casemiro
is gone.
Yeah.
McTominay is a $40 million sale.
Yeah. So you guys need someone like that, but would he go there?
One thing about Valverde that too, when you talk about defense, it's not just defend. His decision making on defending is underrated. People don't see it. It's just under the radar.
Yeah.
But
he really is one of the most well-rounded. He's the most underrated, well-rounded. He does nothing poorly at all.
Kvaratskhelia to Barcelona or Barcelona wants him. I don't.
Yeah. Barcelona want everybody. I don't know if you can afford people.
They don't have money, man. Sit down. Go back to La Masia.
They're window shopping.
But also Barcelona. I think one thing too.
They might pull more levers.
Yeah.
I think La Masia kind of deal back in Barcelona days. It's kind of over. It's not that time anymore.
No, actually, have you seen the young core that are coming out right now? Jamal?
Yeah, Yami Yamal.
Yami Yamal. Oh, that kid is crazy, man.
that kid is good, but this is the era of good kids.
Yeah.
Everybody coming out of the academy is ready. I don't know what they feed these kids now. Yeah. But Liverpool, no. PSG is looking at Osimhen in the event that Mbappe leaves.
For a potentially $130 million release
they
clause
are looking to trigger the clause.
As opposed to just trying to buy him the right way. When the contract runs out, they're willing to spend that money quickly.
If I'm Osimhen, I'm not doing that.
Same.
But I'm going to Arsenal if I'm him.
I don't think Arsenal fit him either.
Why? I feel like it might fit his game though.
Honestly, think he should wait a little bit and see what happened with managerial change at Man United.
You want him at United?
If
this guy.
No, here's why I'm
saying, United, y'all gotta hire him recruiting.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The way he played is not it's not one of those
he's not the link up. Yeah. He's more of an
Arsenal need.
Yeah.
But the way Man United play transition
fast as exactly. And try
to or Liverpool to replace Darwin Núñez in that front.
Yeah.
And you put Osimhen in there. They're gonna be something.
The Arsenal situation is interesting though. Really.
So if you had Arsenal, right? If you had to drop a player, because Arsenal actually, they really need a reliant striker that can always score. If you had to drop a striker right now and there, or if they had to go for a striker next transfer window, who would they go for, or who do you think they should go for?
I was one of those people who like yelling at the top of my line, Arsenal need a striker, and they just went on that crazy run of scoring almost 4 goals a game.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
do they really need a striker then?
No, they do need a striker, but I don't think the difference is they need more Ivan Toney's type striker. Ivan Toney, because the way Ivan Toney can bring people into the game and like basically distribute also. And so
especially in the 6-yard box,
and he's also very lethal.
Yeah.
So you want.
I see.
The reason why I don't think they might go for Ivan Toney probably should go to Chelsea. But if they want to drop big money, like people saying that they want to drop big money, they need to go get like what's his name? He played for Sporting Lisbon. Is it like Groska or something?
Goretzka?
Like that? No. It's a Swedish striker that is killing it right now for Sporting Lisbon.
Oh,
and that's
See, so at the start of the season, Arsenal could have used Victor Osimhen because it was obvious that the number 9 traditional role that Jesus was trying to play is not his strong suit. He seems to be working well on the left wing though right now because he holds up play and then brings the ball back inside. And now Havertz is kind of in that.
Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do genuinely think that they could have used Osimhen at the start of the season. Yeah. The way that they've changed and adapted to what they currently have is working in their favor. But I always challenge someone to say it's impossible to not need a striker. Whether or not you're playing well or not, like everybody benefits from a good center forward.
Yeah.
And Havertz is not a traditional center forward, but he seems to be doing that non-traditional role in the middle better than Jesus was. And Jesus seems to be doing better on the left wing. I do wonder if Osimhen came in and did what Havertz does, but a little bit more attacking minded, could Jesus distribute the ball inside to him as a clinical finisher better? I do think that there's a way to squeeze a center forward like Osimhen in, but they don't need him based on the way that they've changed their play style lately. But that runs out eventually because people figure it out and how to unlock. Manchester City was a good example of that. It's easy to unlock Erling Haaland once you figure out what he's doing, but it took everyone an entire season last year to figure out how to do it, and now they can't stop doing it.
But like that's that.
I think what they did, right, and I was watching Mourinho, is the low block. It's so difficult to see.
Because like Haaland is like down the lane.
Yeah, when you talk now that we even talk about it, you talk Haaland and Osimhen is kind of pretty much the same style. The difference that Osimhen is more technical than Haaland.
He is better on the ball. Once Haaland has to turn his back to goal, it's over.
Exactly. Here's where I stand with Arsenal needing a striker, and I keep telling people this. I'm like, in Manchester City, who just won the league previous before signing Haaland with a false 9. When I say no, we still need a striker.
Yeah.
Who's Arsenal to say they don't need a striker when they haven't won the league yet? And having a striker is like having like a terrible game, and that one striker just getting the end of something in the box, and you guys win 1-0.
Yep.
That's what a center forward does. And
and a pure one too.
And when everything else doesn't work, you can just say, okay, send the ball to him.
Yeah,
he will hold it out.
Like you don't want your entire attacking lineup in your midfield to have like 3 or 4 goals a season, but have Haaland have 28. But it is good that Arsenal sort of have everyone around a 12 to 8. So there's somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Your striker needs more than 12 goals, but your midfield need more than 4 apiece. Like the goals need to be coming from everywhere, like Arsenal is, but they don't have that clinical of a finisher. The entire team has to play well for those goals to come in, and they are doing that. Though.
About that, right? It's you guys can score 4 goals, 5 goals, right, in games that are really open, right? Mm-hmm. But when the game are really tactically and really defensive, now you need someone that's really efficient in that 6-yard box. That's where you're struggling.
Someone that turns those 2 chances into 1 goal.
Might be locked all game, but if he has that one chance, the goalkeeper is not getting it.
And that's why I think like it should be Ivan Toney. Because the way Ivan Toney just feed up scrap at like Brentford, and when the ball dropped to him in the box, he just come alive. Like, this is the moment I'm waiting. Really, they're going to score or turn it and assist. And that's why I'm saying, like, bring Ivan Toney in, because you don't want to bring a big superstar who's going to disturb the peace you have between, like, you have Saka, you have Martinelli, you have Jesus. Havertz is doing his thing now, and you have Martinelli underneath. So bring in Ivan Toney, he's not quite there yet, but he have something to prove.
But you need someone that's going to, if the defense is going to lock everything down, and you're going, because there have been those games this season where Arsenal have had they've had a ton of momentum and they've been able to distribute the ball well in the middle third and even in the box, but they don't have the chances. Yeah. You can tell that they're dancing circles around the defense, but once it finally gets to that final shot, it's not that they're missing the shots, but they can't unlock the defense that way. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to have a situation where your center forward can only get 2 shots on target, it needs to be someone that can close one of those 2. And Ivan Toney is one of those kinds of guys, whereas there's no one in that front lineup for Arsenal that is guaranteed to turn a goal out of 2 to 3 shots. They need more than that, and they usually do get that because of how the team plays, but when you don't get it, the entire well runs dry.
Yeah, and that's when you watch, I watch a few Arsenal games, and some of the ball that Saka delivered to the far post, I'm like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Only if they had a guy there with an actual striker instinct.
Yep.
That guy would be
which is funny because that's who Havertz was supposed to be because he's 6'2", and he is good in the air. But
you know what? Let's rotate, right? There was a lot of games happening this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. And if you didn't watch those,
then you're a fucking idiot. You're an absolute moron. God,
good games, especially in Premier League right now. And I'll tell you guys absolutely this. They are so tight, and there's a lot of articles I've been reading about. In the event this happen, what will decide who is winning, and if this happen, what not. And we watch Arsenal Brighton, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna also talk about Manchester United.
Have to, yeah.
But Arsenal Brighton was pretty easy. Arsenal was just gliding through 3-0, and they are leading on goals difference. If it ever comes to that, they will win on that. But what do you think? They have a pretty stacked schedule too. I feel like Aston Villa might kind of try to disrupt that piece, especially when they're playing this week too on in the Champions League.
Yeah. When this episode comes out, they will probably be playing Bayern Munich live. So it's they've got a very tough schedule coming up. And you're right. And even though Chelsea are not, they are playing a mid-table side, and there's no real way around that. And Manchester United, you can sort of lump those two in there, where they're playing for nothing but spite at the moment. And that's why I had predicted, or at least I maybe not predicted, but I was the one that was more willing to accept the possibility of United sneaking one away from Liverpool, because even though they're not fighting for a Champions League spot, they're not in the title race, although they did kind of get that spite moving on in the FA Cup. But they're the kind of club right now that
on a good day, they might hold you.
They're winning the league is making sure that Liverpool does not. And I thought that it was going to happen for a second.
And being a Manchester United fan right now, we're playing Russian roulette.
Yeah,
we don't know what we're going to get from
exactly. And so it's you hope on that day that the spite gets you there on that upside.
Yeah. But that was a pretty easy game, right? So it was much. I'm just looking forward to see what they have in Champions League.
It was a game. What do you call a professional job?
Yep, it was.
Arsenal came in and say, "Hey, we're better than you. We have more stars than you, and we're gonna win the game." Simple as that. They won everything sorted out, took their players out, rest them for the Champions Leagues, and let's go.
I sincerely believe too that they should have rested Saka. He shouldn't have played that game, to be honest. Because you're playing in the Champions League the next week. So
the only reason though is that I think because even though they've got a pretty good little lineup of people in their wing positions, they've got Martinelli, they've got Trossard, they've got Saka and Reece Nelson can come in as well. It's just but Martinelli's out right now. Mm-hmm. But you have to think that if Martinelli was more healthy, they could have sat Saka out, and because he does need the rest, but. Even though you have that depth in those positions, when one guy is out, it really does change the rotation a lot. Yeah. And Saka's just got to accept that he's just going to play every minute of every game until the day that he dies. And it's just that's just what's going to happen.
Also, Arteta still have what happened last season in the back of his
mind. Yeah, for sure.
There's no way I'm going to be taking anybody lightly until this title race is over. Because right now, you cannot afford to blink because how tight it is between the three of them.
Currently, Arsenal sitting at 71 points, Liverpool 71, Manchester is 70, and they're all there. No one can afford to.
You gotta afford to blink.
You gotta think that Arteta's going, come on, just finish 7 more games, and you can rest during the summer. And Saka's Mikel, but we have the Euros. He's you got 2 weeks.
Arteta would take Saka being available for the last 7 games of the Premier League.
Yeah,
and then if you have to play him injured for the last game, he will play him injured and say, "F England, I want to win the Premier League title." And
So if you're Arsenal, what would you prefer winning? The Premier League or the Champions League? Or in this event, what would you focus your effort more on?
The Premier League. It's the bread and butter, man. It's the Premier League first, and then you go Champions League. And like,
is it because it's the bread and butter, or they don't have the effective to actually, or they don't have it in them?
It is more like the bread and butter. Like you haven't won the Premier League in so long, and you have to win something before you go on and trying to win something else. So you have to win the Premier League, and the only reason why I say they have a chance in the Champions League right now because I still put them like the third favorite for the Champions League behind City, Madrid, and Arsenal.
Yeah,
but they have to focus and get the job done in the Premier League. Yeah, and then we can see what happened when we make it to the semifinals of the Champions League.
Is it because of? Go ahead, Cole.
No, just that I think that recent history has showed that you kind of need to win the Premier League first. Liverpool and City have both, come short in the Champions League, but won the Premier League and then closed in on the Champions League title the next year. Yeah. And Arsenal, they're the third most winning of the Premier League title in English history. Start with that, rebuild that, because it still has been 20 years. And I think that like newer Arsenal fans might want the Champions League first because, in Europe, the Champions League title is more prestigious than the Premier League title, but the Premier League title is by far the second most important title,
especially for the English fans.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you just think statistically speaking, that's another trophy in your cabinet that reflects your heritage. But then, the two other reigning clubs in England have shown that they come close to the Champions League, fall short, but they need that other trophy first before they can take the next step up. But even though, the everyone in the Champions League remaining, aside from Arsenal, are not playing to their full capacity. No. So he and I had that conversation, like, would you rather take the Champions League lightly? If you're out, you're out. Focus on the Premier League. But what you don't want to do is put all of your effort into both and burn out in both and walk away with nothing. That's the scariest thing that you could do. Yeah. Because you see a future in which you can win either. And then putting those two together, you have this fantasy of we can do both. It's like, you can. But the more that you try for that, the more likely it is to walk away with nothing.
But it's interesting, though. Do you think that if it were teams like City or Madrid, the expectation is, at least win the league if you can win the Champions League, if you had the potential?
Madrid especially.
Madrid is Madrid, their whole thing is Champions League. They don't even there's years where they just resign the league to Barcelona and say, hey, you can have that. We're going to go try and win the Champions
back to back,
League. You know what? We're going to do it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Bitch. Yeah.
But what about City, though? The expectation is, say, hey, if you have the possibility, you got to win both because you're City.
I think the Champions League is more in their hands. The Premier League is no longer in their hand because they already play Arsenal. They already play Liverpool.
Yeah. But there's an expectation these guys could draw.
Yeah, but it still mean that if Arsenal win out, they win the league. If Liverpool win out, they win the league.
What he's saying is that City's fate in the Premier League is no longer in their hands, whereas
in the Champions League,
each tie is neutral.
It's neutral. They can go. But the Premier League is Arsenal's to lose not because they're leading and they're playing the best football right now.
Yeah,
and I still think Arsenal can try and go for both ends. Say, hey, let's not do what we did with the Europa League last year. Because let's just take everything serious and go for it. And if somebody burn out and we not achieve one or the other, we definitely going to win.
And you're gonna have to just accept the fact as an Arsenal fan that a Fabio Vieira, a Reece Nelson, a Zinchenko, because I think that of the 4 fullbacks, Zinchenko is 4th. That just means it's controversial. And Timber hasn't even played the season. He played 60 minutes for the season so far. But you're going to accept the fact that you're seeing those guys starting in Champions League matches because you have to rest them for the Premier League as well. Yeah. You can't start everybody in every single match. So if that's why you lose because you're having to start some rotation guys in big matches in the Champions League, fine.
And also, whoever was blaming Kai Havertz, and I kept telling this, y'all gotta be happy now because he is. Every single game, he produces more than, I would say, sometimes more than all the team in a sense. Yeah. 1 assist, 1 goal last game.
But I will sit here and I'll tell you again, because we've been up and down with Kai Havertz this entire season on this damn show, because like when he's not playing well, I say that he's not playing well.
Yeah,
but he's playing well. I been not playing well.
No,
wow,
exactly. But
it means
the whole thing was
he's got his groove on.
I can't stand and I guess help me figure this out, because like as an Arsenal fan, you're not allowed to say Kai Havertz was playing poorly at the start of the season, but he was.
Yeah,
he was like you were looking at what he was doing, and like you could have a tactical professional and go and look at Kai Havertz and go, explain to me what the fuck he's doing. Like you couldn't figure out exactly, because no one knew what he was doing, including him, including Arteta. Nobody knew what it was. They know it now.
My argument,
you're allowed to change. You're allowed to change your mind based on the facts.
My argument is this: at the beginning, there's one thing. Why? One thing first, there was adaptability. He had to adapt. The second thing is what he was expected to do. I don't think even Arteta knew what he was trying to do until they figured it out.
He wanted him in the midfield, but he didn't know exactly what he wanted him to do.
Yeah,
he wanted him where Rice is playing now, but what he's done is he's moved Rice to the left and Jorginho in the center. But he wanted Havertz in that midfield on that left hand side, and it didn't work. And they kind of had a ring around the rosy of where the fuck he was going to
go. When the manager get an idea, they're very prideful. They're like, I'm gonna make this work, and like we all told
those first 5 games were that way.
Everybody knew that like
it's not gonna work.
Harvard is not a midfielder.
Yeah. That's also a thing. So the blame is not really on him in a sense.
It was 50% as an box to box. Basically, he was trying to replace Xhaka.
Yeah,
and he couldn't do that role. But like you say, Arteta went to say, okay, I made a mistake. Let me fix it.
It was like it's like trying to ask out the pretty girl because she's got the nice face, but your personalities are clashing.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, we're gonna figure out something that we have in common because your face is so nice to look at. And it's like, well, okay, well, do you like sports? Do you like reading? What do you like? And Havertz was just like, nope, I don't like anything.
Well, as close as the race is now in Premier League, we had Manchester, Liverpool, and we kind of said this, at this point, Liverpool or Manchester will be one of those teams that will try to snake in.
Our role right now is just being party poopers. That's it.
That little Shakespearean dagger, just
we try to be party
But Liverpool too, it's interesting for them because at the first half they have 15 shots.
Yeah.
You score one of them. For Diaz to score one, he has to miss 100. What's up about that? And I like Diaz.
It was a great goal, though.
No, it was a great goal. Don't get me
wrong. Here's the thing. Like, here's where, like over the weekend, I was disagreeing with a lot of people. I'm like, Liverpool had, like, in total at the end of it, had 28 shots.
Yeah.
And their goals were a corner kick, and a penalty.
That's not great.
Yeah. So, and, like, Onana did have a good game, but some of the shots were not on target. Like only seven shots were on target, and where Onana has to make a good save. That is not a team like being dominant. It's more a team getting frustrated and just shooting and from any angle they like to shoot from. But that's what I was saying. Like at the end of the day, we end up having like 9 shots, 5 on target for us. And Liverpool 7 on target. It was kind of even.
If you talk about efficiency, that would be efficient because
And like I say, like Liverpool, for some reason we played them 3 times this season.
Yeah,
draw twice and we beat them the other game.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of quick build up and a lot of scrambling in the midfield where like everybody looked like they were interested in scoring a goal, but after a certain amount of time in that position, you're like, where are these goals going to come from? I feel like both sides kind of had that. Like it was interesting. Here's that Manu goal. It's amazing.
That Manu goal. Bruno Fernandes
it took shit like that to get on the board for both teams. Like both had to pull out some weird stuff.
Bruno Fernandes is another thing too because I don't think he had a great game. He scored a great goal, but I found him at some point just passing to pass. Sometimes I was like, do you even look up? Do you just pass?
When Bruno had one of those games like that, it's like he annoyed me the most. Like I want to pull my hair out because the way Bruno is playing, I'm like, make the simple pass. But no, he wanted to do this Hollywood pass and completely missed it and give it to them. And now they're attacking us and there's only like 4 defenders, 5 defenders. And like, if Bruno had kept that ball, we're not getting a counterattack right now.
You know those players that you can admit are good players, but that you would never for a second want in your squad? He's one of those guys for me. I think that he is slightly overrated in terms of what he actually brings, not what he can bring, and that he's shown that he can do, but what he actually does every week. But he's one of those guys that like, I would just actively not want him in my squad, even though he can show up sometimes.
Yeah. Would you let Rashford go for me right now? Because if you look at the United, the sole purpose, the sole purpose of them winning or drawing every week out and week in is because people like Haaland are actually fighting. The one who actually play. People like Maguire that people hate on, but to be honest, when you look at the fighting spirit in the team, he's only one of those guys that have it. Onana wants to play, but the rest is, whatever happens.
Like, let me be honest, brutally honest. This team, I'll ship all of them out.
See,
tomorrow.
you said
I will ship
what did
all
I
of them
tell you?
out tomorrow.
That's the same thing I said.
Like, if you force me to keep anybody, it would be the youngsters.
Yeah.
Like, I keep like
maybe
is very good.
Yeah.
And maybe the medical staff as well.
And Garnacho, no, the medical staff is
Fuck
not.
them, they gotta go.
I'm sending them like the doctor back to you guys. Like, we got the Arsenal doctor from last season.
Yeah, he ain't that good.
Since he came, everybody been injured. Everybody been injured.
Well, what's so what about that?
It's an inside job. It's an inside job.
Oh, that's gotta be.
We got a double agent.
Even the Kabwala kid, he played well. Apart from that mistake, but he plays very well.
Like, we can like, if you force me to keep anybody, is like the kids. You're not supposed to be playing kids.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about like the older guys in the team, from like Rashford, Bruno, Maguire, Luke Shaw, anybody in that United squad, I'm selling. I'm done.
Yeah.
I waited 8 years for you guys to do something. It's over.
I think you've got 3 guys especially that you would absolutely have to keep.
Yeah, it would be like Højlund, Menu, and Garnacho.
Yep.
That's it.
What about Dalot though? Because sometimes he shows up and he's a bright spot in their build up and their defense.
So I'm one of the people in United fan base that would sell Dalot right away, because here's the thing. I need an upgrade on both Dalot and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I'm going to keep a backup, I need the guy who had a specialty, which is one-on-one defending. Let's say I get a starting right back, and I keep Wan-Bissaka as backup. And we go to play Liverpool, and we need somebody to shut Mo Salah down, like he did last game.
But the thing about Wan-Bissaka is...
That's why I'm saying, like, I'm keeping Wan-Bissaka for that job.
You think so?
Yes.
Because the rate at which he made mistake is high up there.
No. See, he was playing
this guy sliding tackle in the box. He don't care.
He does that all the time and never give away a penalty except last time. But he was playing on the opposite flank. Yeah. And if that was on his right side, that's a simple tackle for him. He win that ball and clear it. But because it was a weird angle for him, because he's never used to tackling from being a left back, because he's never played left back until this season. But his ability to defend, is one of the things that, like,
hey,
I would keep him.
If you tell him the first player I'm calling off, Rashford, not because Rashford is not good, because he's not playing. Because in a team too, you have to understand, you have team chemistry, and you also have team morale.
Yeah.
If one person is a downer, it's not gonna go. The way he plays, it's like the forcing him to even come in.
Yeah. No, I sent him to London so he can party more.
And the one thing that I think he's just over United. I don't think that he cannot do good. I feel like he needs a change of scenery to get to his best. Yeah. Probably PSG is a good move for him.
Yeah, like, he could go to Paris and maybe have a good time there. I just think, like, Rashford is...
I would 100% agree. That's probably what would happen.
Rashford is in that phase where, like, he make too much money to care anymore.
You think so?
Like, yes.
Which is funny because 4 years ago he was the exact opposite. Yeah. So I don't understand when that changed.
But you don't think it is?
The culture of Manchester United does not help.
Yeah,
half of the players we have is sometimes I feel bad for Rashford simply because I don't think he had the high level coaching that he needed.
Yeah, and expected.
Yeah, expected. Like, if Rashford just for some reason chose to play for the blue side of Manchester. I think we'd be considering him one of the best players in the world right now, because his electric pace, his ability to dribble, and his clinical finishing.
Yeah.
He'll be under Guardiola. He's probably one of the best.
And he wouldn't be able to screw around either.
Yeah, exactly.
Pep would have had his ass.
Exactly.
And,
And the consistent coaching that Pep has been for 8 years, coincided with Rashford coming up.
And Mourinho gave him his chance, I think so. Was it Mourinho who gave him his first chance?
No, it was Van Gaal.
Yeah. But under Mourinho, I feel like even if Mourinho has stayed in those events and Rashford
would not have survived.
You don't think so?
Mourinho is one of these like demands so much from their wingers. Like Mourinho demands so much from his wingers defensively, and Rashford that's not his thing.
Yeah,
Rashford does not like defending.
He had
even at City, even in terms City, of box to box or in terms of overloading or just making sure that when people have the ball, you have to be pressed on.
But he can do that. But when an organized press, he can do that because you only have to cover a certain distance. Yeah. And most of the time, City will have the ball all the time, so he's going to be more having the other fullback terrified of him than he is coming back to defend.
Because I think under Klopp, it won't have been good because Klopp runs a ultimate press.
I think also under Klopp, he would have been amazing too.
Because one thing about Liverpool right now, there's the fact that Klopp is leaving. That's why they're playing like madmen. But there's another thing too.
I cannot wait for that day.
There's another thing. Is the way Klopp presses, you think these guys are under something.
Oh, they would die. Oh. Have you not read that report? They say that half a Liverpool team have asthma. When I read that, I'm like, oh, that can be true because you guys are some of the fittest players in the Premier League. Because the amount sprint you guys do, I'm like, there's no way you play in club midfield if you have asthma.
I've heard they all have asthma and cocaine addictions. That's where that pace comes from.
Yeah, that Liverpool team.
Yeah, because when they played against that City. I'm telling you, the 20 last minute, even City couldn't understand what was happening. Yeah. Luis Diaz, although he loses a lot, but this guy has 2 lungs.
Yeah. He's never not working his ass off.
No,
he's not a great
he's always
finisher,
everywhere.
but he's always
Every
trying.
time I see him, he's always on someone. I'm like, dude, can you walk a little bit?
And that is the perfect example of a good recruiting.
I imagine him in the supermarket really fast. I imagine him at a Target, running full speed through his grocery aisles, just getting all of his stuff. It's like, dude, take it easy.
Yeah, so it's awesome. The way Liverpool identify players that fit their ethos, their work ethic, it's incredible because I hate them, but sometimes it's hard to not admire that. Like how you guys keep finding these players that not only do they fit how you guys want to play, they also fit the way you club act as a human being.
And they never pay that much for them. Like they always get them with the lower price. Yeah.
Did they get McAllister for $35 million?
Yeah. And I think right now, if you had to sell him, he is a solid 100.
Yeah.
McAllister.
If they were to sell him right now.
Very well.
Like right
England
now,
has a good Argentina has a good midfielder right now.
Yeah. Like I really don't know how everybody Man United was looking at McAllister. I'm like, if all it took for you to pay the $30 million release cost, why didn't you do it?
No, they want to play. They want to buy. When he's 30, it's too cheap, man. You gotta be 190, 120 for Chelsea to buy you.
Yeah.
No.
They don't buy. They don't buy cheap players.
No. Like the Chelsea owner was playing casino style football.
Yeah.
No,
when you look at Chelsea today, you're like, what the hell happened?
Well, in the way that the recruiting works, it each purchase and sell helps the other one out. They got McAllister at that value, so they could spend more on Szoboszlai, but still they only spent 60 on him. Yeah. And for what he's doing, that's not that bad, especially because of how little you paid for the other guy. Really, they're playing at the opposite values. Like McAllister's playing like a $60 million buy, and Szoboszlai's playing like a 30, and that's not a knock.
Yeah.
McAllister's
just playing better, but Szoboszlai's playing great too. But those two sales together are what make a harmonious purchase.
I think there's somebody in Liverpool recruitment department.
They have a good
whose job is to just read contracts and what clauses are in people's contracts.
So
because all of those were clauses in the people contract being triggered by Liverpool. I'm like,
they had an MLB crew come in. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That Moneyball crew from the Red Sox that were they were doing stuff like that. Like they were looking at projections of averages and kind of predicting through the market who to buy cheap to bring up. Like they brought that over to the Premier League, and it's pretty much worked for them perfectly.
They only had to buy 3 players that they spent over $70 million on, and that was ridiculous. And in the goalkeeper, Van Dijk, and the new midfielder. That's it. Mm-hmm. Most of the players, they bought them cheap. They got Mo Salah for 35 million.
Yeah. What they got money for again?
Oh, they got money for like 30 million for Southampton.
And man, and
they got like what's his name, Firmino back then for like 17 or 20 something like that from like was it like a German team? I don't know.
Yeah, it was from Dortmund. I think so.
It
wasn't from
Dortmund. Like,
who?
Firmino. No, where he come from?
From Hamburg or something like that. Somewhere in German, but it wasn't Dortmund.
Yeah.
But like it was cheap.
Yeah.
They get players for very cheap.
They got a good recruitment. Recruiting.
And they rehired the guy who did almost all of those deals in like Ed Wood. They have rehired him back again.
Firmino came from Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim. Yeah.
But no, I mean, like they're the exact opposite recruiters of a Chelsea and a PSG. See, and just like, I will say they are not as bad as Chelsea and PSG in terms of just like throwing the most amount of money at somebody and expecting the immediate, like, I paid this much, therefore you should perform at this level. It doesn't work that way for the most part.
But I'll give Chelsea.
No, I think for Chelsea, right? Because the clubs that like Madrid, that's their whole style. You know, in Madrid, especially when this guy Florentino Perez came in, when they started establishing Madrid as a super club, in their clause, and I think it still exists today, a year they have to recruit one superstar at least. Yeah. That's why Madrid always have these superstars. But it's their thing. Chelsea, when Abramovich took over, it was kind of because you also have the team to do that. I think the new management just messed it up.
Because they don't know football.
That's it. Like, how you gonna call it soccer and want to recruit?
Yeah, like you need to be able to know your stuff in order to recruit that crazy. Yeah. The reason why like Chelsea keep winning, it was because the collection of players they keep signing, it just need one manager way to tweak it and they go win. But now, like when you come in and you fire the entire
squad,
the entire like leadership group,
yeah.
What do you expect doing it? But like you're never gonna get it, like be the same team ever again.
Yeah,
because of that. And also, I think the Man United recruitment is the worst. We have spent billions on players that we don't even have in our books anymore. I heard that we were still paying for like
Sancho.
We're still paying for Sancho.
And I think they want to sell Sancho.
Yeah. That would depend. If they sell Sancho, I will know 100% sure that they are keeping Eric Ten Hag. But because like Sancho is a great player, and
that's always what I thought.
The problem is like you're gonna try and buy another winger. Like you have Sancho trying to.
But him and Eric Ten Hag don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like
United won $40 million for him from Dortmund, and Dortmund already said like that's impossible for us to pay.
Dortmund's not definitely gonna. You know, one team that I also thought had a good recruitment team.
We don't sell, we buy.
we buy
cheap.
Dortmund too, because Dortmund sell a lot of players, but I don't know where the hell they take these players from.
I don't want to buy from Dortmund ever again.
Why?
We got like a Mkhitaryan from them.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah,
we got Shinji Kagawa from them. Was their best player. Terrible. We got like Sancho, who was one of their best players. Terrible for us.
I haven't heard that name in a while. Shinji Kagawa.
Don't buy from Dortmund. That should be the key.
No, but it doesn't mean Dortmund don't have great players that leave there and don't go perform anywhere.
No, I'm saying Man United should not buy from Dortmund.
Okay.
Same way we should not buy from Real Madrid.
And they're not even saying that they don't want to pay 40. They're like, we literally can't. So like you're going to have to bring that down quite a bit.
So right now Bundesliga is as excited as usual. Before I go to Bundesliga,
3 points.
I'm just
that's
gonna
it,
say,
man.
Right now in the Premier League is something we gotta watch closer. I'm really excited because I don't know what will happen or potentially happen. You know, in the event that they are all tying points, the only decided not the only, but one of the deciding factor that will be next will be goal difference. And in the event that they are tied on goal difference, guess what? Goal scored. And if it's not goal scored, it's goal scored against team. So the 3 teams goals away. And if it's not that, I think they have to play, but that it has never happened. But that will be one of the.
I think it's going to be goal difference because
you think so.
The reason why I say like it's Arsenal to lose is because Arsenal have. I consider that an extra point because they have so many goals more than any other any Liverpool or City. So I think they have one extra point because of that. Because if the only tricky games they have is the North London derby, which is going to be a tough one against Tottenham. No matter, that's one of those games like Liverpool, Man United. No matter how bad the other team is, it's a derby.
It's a derby, yeah.
And like if Arsenal don't show up right, Tottenham is going to
win. Yeah,
their
that's also my fear right now.
And that game, and then one of the last games is United. The good thing is though, we want Arsenal to win. So we want Arsenal to win.
There really are 3 matchups in there. There's Chelsea, there's Liverpool. I mean Chelsea, United, and Tottenham.
Yeah.
For Arsenal wrapping up, that are like, if there's all 3 of them have that in them to just put a dagger in and ruin everything. It's like I don't like seeing the end, because I think Liverpool have the easiest schedule
Liverpool
so
have
far.
The easiest schedule
and they're not even playing the Champions League too.
But the biggest game I think for you guys is the Tottenham game, because like if you turn up against United, like you're not gonna miss your chances like Liverpool did.
Yeah.
And like Chelsea was like, we were able to put 3 goals past Chelsea and we're terrible. So I think if Arsenal show up, they're gonna beat Chelsea comfortably, and they probably should win against United because we're not that good.
Yeah.
The game I would be worried about is
Tottenham.
Is the Tottenham,
because also it's a derby too.
They're your main rivals, and nobody want you to win less than them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they are the one you should be worried about.
Yeah, Bundesliga. It's been, if Bayer Leverkusen win this Bundesliga, it's gonna be the
break
first
11 years record.
Yeah.
Like,
good grief. So where would you rank this new guy, Xabi Alonso?
Oh, the guy is incredible.
Yeah.
The way he played is like, there's some managers who just come out of nowhere, and instead of following the Guardiola method, because all the new managers that have been coming out been trying to copy Guardiola.
Most of them also were under him.
Yeah. But they were trying to copy Guardiola, and what Xavi has done is that, let's say, I played under Mourinho, I play under Guardiola, I play under Ancelotti, I play under multiple great managers. I'm going to invent my own system using their ideas.
Yeah.
And like, he's one of the only people that is actually playing with 2 defensive midfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a box-to-box midfielder, and he's playing with 2 legit defensive midfielders.
So he's more playing like all-star in the sense with new school, because when they transition to...
Because the reason why he's playing with 2 defensive midfielders is because they're like 2 of his top goal scorers and assisters are his fullbacks. Like his wingback in like Jeremy Ping-Pong.
Yeah, Jeremy Ping-Pong.
I keep forgetting the other guy name. On the left. Just look at the stat of their goals and assists. It's ridiculous. How many the Ping-Pong have like 10 goals and like by 10 assists.
Yeah.
Playing from right back.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue that they have is like how long can they keep the squad together before they start getting picked apart by sales?
No, Kosuno. How do you call? Yeah, Kosuno on the.
No, it would be what's his name?
Taylor. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But his formation is also an interesting one.
Yeah.
A 3-4-2-1.
Yeah, he switch it every other game when he plays.
So it's really difficult to predict. But
he played 3. The other game he played 2 in the back. He switch it up.
They're 1 game away to win. So if they win next,
it's over.
It's over.
It'd be the first time in like 11 years that somebody other than Bayern Munich won.
And it's it'll be the first time in their club's history as well.
Yeah, and the first time.
And if you give someone their first time, it's like your first girl. She never forgets you.
Never forget.
And they might go undefeated.
Yeah, it's kind of like the invincible of Arsenal 2005. I think so.
Yeah.
5.
Well, and they really could win a European double as well.
Like Liverpool is too good.
That's the only
problem they have.
Well, and that's the only matchup that really stands in their way, I think. Mm-hmm. Truly.
But what if they do though?
That'd be amazing.
You know when you have this whole thing all going on, because look at what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. The past 9 or 6 games, he is kind of like a comeback king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Against big clubs, Bayern, all these guys.
Late goals,
and he's
big
coming
goals.
Back.
Yeah.
And they are not playing. They are not playing in a disturbed manner, even when they are being led.
Yeah.
See,
it's calm.
Like a lot of people keep trying to downplay this, saying that Bayern hasn't been very good at all. But that's not true though. These guys are still haven't lost a game. even if Bayern was playing incredible, they'd still be leading because they haven't lost a game yet in the whole season. So they would be top regardless how well Bayern was playing, unless if Bayern matched them.
So it will, Bayern
true. Always lose a couple games here and there during the season, going back to when they win the whole thing all the time.
But this guy, I don't look at it like that. It don't matter because Bayern has the effective, right? You have the effective, you have the money, you have the players, you have the coach. If a team beats you, it's not because you're not playing good. Guess what? The team is really good.
In 2 years, half of these players in like Bayern Leverkusen, they're going to be playing for Bayern.
That's for sure. Bayern is going to buy them out.
Half of them
how crazy it is that Harry Kane goes somewhere to a team and he is trying to get a trophy, knowing well that if you go to United, at least you're going to get something. But the minute you land there, they lose everything.
Yep. Like with Xavi, I think like he might be able to keep them for one more year.
Because I think one more year.
He said that he's gonna stay. To me, he's playing a chase move because he don't want to be the one following Klopp in Liverpool. But that's the job he want. He want to go to Liverpool.
You think so?
Yes. Either Liverpool or Madrid.
Yeah.
Those are the two. But like the Godfather in Madrid is still.
I feel like Don has probably a year. It's just because I feel like he has a collective of good players right now because there was a lot of rumors that he wanted to go to Brazil to coach the international level. But the collective and the plethora of talent was like, hey, man, I could run this thing down.
I don't think you're signing those many players to retire in a few years.
But leading a group like that, though, because if everything happens like it's supposed to happen due to the potential, a group like that in 2 years will be difficult to be led by a manager that don't have charisma.
If it's like, I would agree with you, but this is the Godfather of football.
No. I mean, if the Godfather decides to leave, right?
Yeah, if the Godfather leaves,
it will be difficult to just because in 2 years these are potentially superstars, and when you get a lot of superstars together, it's so difficult to.
I have a feeling
clash up in personalities.
I have a feeling they will like stack up on superstar, and then like Ancelotti leave, and they're like, "Hey Zizou, you want a job back? Hey Zizou, you been out for a minute.
Hey, let's come and win 3 again in the
come back, win 3 again, and you can go back on
but it's interesting.
3 years sabbatical again."
And it's interesting though that Bayern is playing like they're playing such a weird way right now. They're not winning how they're supposed to win, especially with Harry Kane, he does have that.
That man is allergic to trophies.
Like I wouldn't want his luck for nothing in the world. But guess what? You think Arsenal has a chance due to the way Bayern played this weekend?
Oh, 100%.
Heidemann, or whatever the name of that. These names are so complicated. Coming back from a 2-0 to Bayern, I feel like Arsenal got this. But
the amount of injuries too, like they're not gonna have Sané, David, and like they have a lot of injuries, and like Arsenal just need to show up. That's it. Like,
well, and I think that most people would agree because we 2 days ago put out a poll on the channel of who would move on past Bayern or Arsenal, and Arsenal won with 72% of the vote with 655 final votes. That was our biggest. That was our biggest poll that we've had on the channel. I don't know where all you fuckers came from. Subscribe, but I mean, it looks like everybody's kind of agreeing that if Arsenal play as well as they are expecting to, and Bayern continue playing as they have been lately, it's a really smooth. But you also don't want to get overly confident about it either. It is Bayern Munich, and it's a competition that Arsenal's not used to excelling in either, though.
Yeah.
So you always have to keep that humble mentality, I think, and keep it slow over the 2 legs, and I think you can walk away the victor.
I think the weirdest problem like Bayern Munich created is that Bayern Munich and Barcelona have that same problem, is that they know their manager's leaving.
Yeah.
And like the result hasn't been as great as they should have been. And I don't know how you're gonna like motivate players that know in a few months you're not gonna be here.
Yeah.
And like if they're messing up, you try to discipline them. You're like, I just ignore you because you're not gonna be here in a few months.
It's different.
And I think that's what's going on in Bayern Munich, is that players are just doing whatever. Like Kimmich, your captain, supposedly is not listening to you. He want to leave.
Well, he's rumored to be interested in like 3 different clubs at the moment.
Exactly, and like. It's upset that you move him back to a right back, even though he's a very good right back. He's been playing midfield his whole career.
Yeah. Is it to me that Kimmich is the captain? I thought they would have given it to Müller.
No, like it's Kimmich.
Yeah, I'm just saying
but
it's crazy.
Kimmich played more, maybe like in true fashion, just like Martin Odegaard is the captain for Arsenal, but Rice is the leader of the team.
But for them, it's a young team, right? But Müller it's like the OG right now. When you look at Bayern,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like on the field, Kimmich is the team that's the leader, but in the dressing room, it's Müller.
Yeah. So, the one thing I'm just scared is the Bayern showing up in Champions League, because Champions League is a whole, that's what I was saying, I think 2-3 podcasts ago. It's just like Arsenal when they play Porto, right?
Yeah.
It's in Champions League, when the best of the best meet, there's truly no one to be considered not good, and also there's also the Champions League fear. Some people go there, they just carry that Champions League aura and they just perform as they're supposed to. Yeah. So hopefully Arsenal, just like you said, just gotta show up, play how they're playing, and they're gonna take it home, I guess. The win, not the trophy. Win, not sure.
Yeah, right.
If there's one team that Arsenal have some terrible scar from, it's
Bayern. I know.
One of the teams that just
Bayern don't be playing with Arsenal.
Every time they meet Arsenal in the Champions League, they just use them as a doormat.
Yeah,
to wipe the floor.
They destroy them.
We're going there. But if Arsenal were ever going to revenge some of those terrible losses,
time is now.
It's now.
And do you think that really fast, and then I think we'll start wrapping up pretty soon. Do you think that Arsenal benefit from the fact that whoever they face, Real Madrid or City, they're coming off the heels of facing that tough of an opponent? Like whoever comes out of City and Madrid, they're going to be a little wounded. That's a tall order to then immediately go and face, whether or not they have the same prestige in the Champions League. You're facing a highly tuned Arsenal team. Do you think that works out in Arsenal's favor, or would you rather see that kind of an opponent further down the line?
Like it does help when you face like a tough opponent. It make you like the saying that like iron sharpen iron, and I think like Arsenal coming out of that tie against Bayern Munich, they're gonna feel confidence.
Yeah. And
the only if I'm Arsenal, I don't want to see City because it's tough to beat the same team 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that's true. So, and then I saw someone else as well of like, if Arsenal want to act like they belong in the Champions League, you can't be always wishing for the easy draw.
No.
Because there were a lot of people saying like, oh, well, that's it, because they saw that like Bayern and then the winner of Madrid and City. It's like, it's the fucking Champions League, man. Like it's gonna happen at some point. And if you're supposed to be here, then you're gonna face them anyways. So go ahead and face them now.
Yeah. This is my thing though. Assuming Madrid pass City, Arsenal mean that Madrid team, Madrid's gonna destroy them. Because the one thing,
do you think destroy? I can see them winning, obviously, but I don't think it's a destroy.
You think so? No. Because the one thing, right? I've realized one thing: the way Don Carlos, since he's more old school, but he's changed a lot of his philosophy the past years.
Yeah,
it makes it really difficult for teams that are extremely doing the positional plays too, because you don't know what to expect from him. See, but he has guys that don't miss like.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like. Arsenal a few years ago, you called them soft.
Yeah.
But no. Not
now.
Like, now, no. Like, they probably have the 2 best center back pairing.
No, for that, for that, they got it.
So you go, okay, they have the best center back pairing in Saliba and Gabriel. Say, okay, let's move forward. What do you have in the midfield? They have probably one of the best balanced midfield you can find in like Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard.
Yeah.
And Partey started to come back, which is incredibly like very good for them. With if Partey come back, they can push for whatever they want to go, because meaning like if you don't think, okay, we're playing in Madrid, we need physical like present in there. You play Rice and Partey.
Yeah.
And then once you maybe win up a few minutes, say, okay, we're gonna control the ball and keep the ball away from them. You bring in like a Jorginho.
Yeah.
And then so they have the physicality to compete with both Madrid and City. The only reason I said they don't want City right now is that you rarely beat the same team 3 times in a season, and Arsenal already beat City twice. So
it's just a stat that you don't want to.
If they meet again, there's no way Arsenal beat them because you never beat the same guy 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, they said that you can never take the Champions League twice, but guess what? Madrid did it. The goal of the week this week.
There's only one. There's only one possible outcome.
The goal of the week. There were so many goals, but we usually just vote depending on whatever we think was good. But for me, I think it was Kobe Mainoo.
Oh,
unanimous.
A round of applause for him. All right, Kobe Mainoo, he did his thing, man. You gotta go. If you didn't watch it, go back. Just watch.
Well, actually, it's playing right here on the screen.
Yeah, I was saying
right now,
KDB.
in front of us.
I saw for KDB too, but the thing blindsided, just finesse that thing. As soon as I turned, for a 16-year-old player doing like
18 now.
18. How did he jump from 16 to 18?
No, he started playing last year when he was 17 years old, and like apparently, according to a lot of people, say if he didn't get injured, like during the training last year, he would have been playing last year. And like one of the things they show is like last year when the Carabao Cup final, like everybody was celebrating, but like Eric Ten Hag was talking to this youngster. People say, "Who's that youngster?" Eric Ten Hag spending like a lot talking. It was
that's
Kobe
awesome.
Mainoo.
I didn't know that.
It was Kobe.
Well,
Mainoo.
that's great. I like the kid. I think he has potential and he has a future behind. We are wrapping up. Well, thank you for Iwan to come on the set with us and my buddy here, Julian. If you didn't watch the games, there's Champions League coming up. You guys go watch it. We're gonna try to do the games, the Champions League, the matches next week. Wrap up.
Yes, sir.
We go ahead, subscribe. Spotify, we'll have all our links. YouTube, go follow Iwan's channel too. I think he opened a new one.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
Try to get it.
Hit all the plugs. Where can they find you? Where can they watch it? What can they do?
So right now I'm just on YouTube. I have like my channel is simple. Just search my name, Iwan Aguto.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
This guy's gonna put it under the.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's fine. It's just my name, and I talk a lot about Manchester United. Occasionally, how Nashville Football Club drives me crazy, but.
Yeah. So if you're a Tennessee resident, you definitely need a team and you need to talk, just have insights about the team. Follow my guy. He knows a lot about Nashville SC.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. We are close to bye-bye.
Bye-bye.